So without further ado, Joey, so glad that you're safe. How is everything in Texas right now?
Oh, it's back to normal. So, everything is good. But we had a hell of a week. People down here are not prepared for that kind of weather. I mean, I spent most of my life in the Northeast, so I'm kind of used to it and it doesn't really bother me that much. But Texans, they freak out. Nobody's prepared.
Yep, exactly. It's like LA. Nobody can drive in the rain. Nobody's prepared for that. One drop of rain and everybody's going 5 miles an hour. Well, so glad to have you here and that your power is on and everything's good.
Yep.
So you gave a lot of awesome stories in the last class. We're going to get to everybody's questions. But one thing I wanted to ask you was, were you one of those people that just knew that you were going to be a rock star, that this was your destiny? Sometimes on these master classes, people just say, I just knew all along that this was my future. Were you like that?
Pretty much so. I mean, I knew when I started to play the drums or just fiddle around with the drums, it was something that I saw first, with guys that I saw on TV and watched bands. And I started to play when I was about 14, only really because of the feeling that it gave me, and there was nothing else that I had experienced ever that made me feel like I felt when I sit behind my drums. And fortunately for me, here we are 55 years later, and I still maintain that same passion, which I'm extremely grateful for because it's been a very strong constant in my life. But yeah, I knew I was going to do it come hell or high water.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'm going to start by jumping into some questions and then we'll get back into it. I know a couple of people are anxious to ask you stuff. Gons, I'm going to start with you because I know last time you were on a time crunch, just in case you are. And remind me where you're calling from again.
Hello, Brit. Hello, Joey. Thank you for taking the time. I'm calling from Canberra, Australia. I'm originally from Lima, Peru. I've seen Aerosmith 3 times there, 2010, 2011, and 2016.
I remember you from the last time, man.
Yeah. Hi, Joey. Thank you for being here. I guess that what I wanted to ask is kind of a follow-up question on the last call. And I'm really interested to know if there's anything cooking in the Aerosmith camp. Is there any upcoming project since last we spoke? I thought that there was a box set that maybe was on the works, starting to be worked on a few months ago. So
what, a box set?
A box set of unreleased material, maybe from the vault of Aerosmith. Is anything coming up maybe in the next year?
There's nothing that I know of that's being prepared. As a matter of fact, we just announced the postponement of our European tour that was supposed to be last summer, and now it's going to have to be next summer because of COVID. And there's nothing on the horizon, that's going to be around right away. To tell you the truth, I'm really kind of enjoying some time off and relaxing with my wife and my dogs and just like being normal for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. It must be tough. Then I guess my other question is related to, in the last call you mentioned writing the song Tramp with your friend Pepe Castro.
Tramp. Yeah,
Tramp. I was wondering if Aerosmith, because I know that you wrote it with him, maybe you recorded it in your home studio or in Pepe's home studio, but did Aerosmith during the Pump session, did the band really put any work on it? Did you guys record everyone? Did Steven ever got to finalize the lyrics for that Tramp song?
We did a track for that when we were at Little Mountain up in Vancouver, when we were doing what was that record?
Permanent Vacations and Pump? Yeah.
No, when we were doing Pump, yeah. We put down a basic track for it, but it never really got any further than that.
All right, and I guess my final question for you would be relating the Miami sessions in 1996 for Nine Lives. I know that you didn't took part in the initial part of the recordings, but there was a gap there in Miami that you came back, I guess in 95 or 96, and you re-recorded some of those original tracks. So is there a parallel version of Nine Lives with the initial sessions with you playing? Did you get to re-record every single track in that album?
I didn't play on the initial recordings, but I replaced all the stuff that they put down. The drummer was
Steve.
I forget, the guy that plays with
Steve Ferroni.
with Eric Clapton, and Steve Ferroni, really nice guy, and a really good drummer. It's just two different things, two different animals, and so it didn't feel the same. But I redid all those tracks, and that's what it is today.
I love that album, man. And
Thank you.
Do you have any other maybe songs that you worked on that didn't make any of the records that you can remember, like similar to Trump?
You mean
songs that you wrote for the
that,
band that maybe didn't make it into the record?
No, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff lying around. There's a lot of stuff in the can that never got used or has never been used, and for sure, I'd like to see sometimes have it see the light of day. There's one song in particular that I really like that I did with Marty Fredrickson, and it's called "Closer." It's on Music from Another Dimension. Yeah, I felt like that song didn't get worked on as much as it deserved, but who knows? It's there. We'll see if anything ever happens with it.
All right.
Very cool. We had Marty Fredrickson on doing a songwriting masterclass with us on one time a few months ago. He was really great.
Thank you, Joy, and I hope to hear maybe some music from Aerosmith from you playing on someone else's track, and maybe the upcoming book that you talked about last time. Thank you so much.
I'm working on it.
Exciting.
I'm not sure if it's going to be a book or a podcast or a video, or I'm not sure what form it's going to take.
Exactly.
But it's basically a continuation of my book that I've always felt as though it never really saw the proper light of day.
Always excited to hear something else from you. Thank you, Joy. Thank you.
Thanks, Gans.
Thanks, Gans. Good to see you again. Let's go to Magdalena. Where are you calling from?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm calling from Germany, and I have read Joey's book like about a year ago, and I want to tell him that it is very inspirational and that I admire his honesty and openness in the book. And my question is, how can I convince friends that also deal with depression? How can I convince them that there is hope and that things do get better?
How can you convince your friends that things can get better?
Yeah.
Well, they can read the book to begin with.
I already told them that.
and they can listen to you. Have you had depression and gotten better from it?
No, I never had it.
Oh, I don't know that there's any particular specific way, other than going through treatment and helping yourself out that way through therapy. But
yeah, but a lot of people don't want therapy for it, so they
don't want therapy.
They just kind of keep staying sad, and I don't want them to be sad.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all pretty much of our own doing, and there's so many people out there that suffer from it. My heart, it goes out to them because I know what it feels like. But I don't know that there's any particular way that you can convince them that things are going to get better. All you can do is be there for them and be compassionate.
Yeah, I always am that.
Yeah, you can just be compassionate and loving and be their friends, be there for them when they need you.
Always am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your question, Magdalena. I know a lot of people last time were mentioning how inspirational and moving your book was.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's special. Yeah, well, hey, maybe you can touch more on that in the new book or podcast, I guess.
I would love to read it or listen to it.
Yeah. Well, good luck to your friend, Magdalena, and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sam. Hey, Sam. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Mexico.
Okay, what part of Mexico?
I'm from Morelos, Cuernavaca.
All right. What's the question for Joey?
Well, my question is, what bands you listened to back then that made you want to learn an instrument and get into music?
You mean my inspiration? You mean who inspired me? Who am I? You mean as far as other drummers go?
Yeah.
My influences kind of cover a wide scam. I would have to say, first of all, Dino Dinelli from the Young Rascals, who you probably don't even know who that they are. A guy named Clive Bunker, who used to play with the original Jethro Tull. Mitch Mitchell, who used to play with Jimi Hendrix. Of course, John Bonham, Buddy Rich. Clyde Stubblefield, who plays with James Brown. I'm heavily influenced by rhythm and blues and Dave Garibaldi from Tower of Power. And there's lots of people. There's so many good players out there, that all you can do is treat them all fairly, listen to them all, and let them all do for you what it is that they do. As long as we're open, we can all learn from one another. A lot of influence and a lot of different influences, though.
And what techniques do you recommend learning to get better at playing the drums?
I'm sorry?
What techniques do you recommend to learn to get better at playing the drums?
What technique?
Yeah.
You mean like practice exercises and stuff, warm-ups?
Yes, that's.
The best thing to do is to learn all the rudiments first. And then once you learn all the rudiments, you can apply them in a lot of different ways to the drum set.
Oh, okay.
The rudiments are the basics, that you can get from a good instructor, a good teacher, or depending on, what kind of gift you have yourself, you might be able to figure it out for yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And speaking of your influences, Joey, do you sometimes, when you're writing a drum part for a song, do you sometimes think like, okay, I'm gonna play it like the drummer from Tower of Power, I'm gonna use this lick? Do you think in that way sometimes?
No. That's trouble to box yourself into a corner like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to play like anybody. I'm going to play like Joey.
Right. The best, right? All right. Well, let's go to Joe Martucci. Hey, Joe. I'm asking to unmute you there. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing? What's going on, Joey?
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm here in Brooklyn, so I could sympathize with you with those northeastern winters.
Oh yeah.
My question is, in your in the Aerosmith autobiography, you had said what a hard time Steven Tyler was giving you with your drum playing. At any time, did you, in the beginning, think of actually quitting, or did it like harden you up and say, you know what, I'm just gonna work at it harder, or like what was your mentality going into this? Because what I've heard, Steven could be a real pain in the rear end.
Really, you heard that?
Yeah, I can't say firsthand, so I mean, only from what I hear.
Yeah, what you're saying is correct. When in the beginning, Steven used to be a drummer, a pretty good one, and I had a lot of chops in the beginning, but not any particular direction because I was influenced by all these other people that I mentioned, and he kind of helped give me direction because he would show me different things, and I learned. I have to give it up to him because I learned a lot from him until it got to a point where, like anything else, I learned enough, and I was ready to express myself. That's why I joined a band to begin with, and that's true. And Steven can be the way that Steven is, which nobody else is, but. At the same time, he was very helpful as well. So I just took everything by myself, on myself, and thinking about quitting was just not ever in the cards for me. I kind of lived my whole life like that. I never giving up is just not something that I entertain ever in anything that I do. I think that has a lot to do with why I've gotten to where I've gotten, and you finally learn from yourself. And when I finally learned from myself, or started to, I wanted to express that. I didn't need somebody else to tell me. But he likes to tell everybody how to do their job because he knows everything.
So, like, you knew it was these other four guys, like it was going to be you five that were going to do it. Like you had that kind of feeling in the pit of your stomach, like you had the right mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than the one guy, Raymond Tabano, who was the original rhythm guitar player, who Brad took his place. Raymond and I grew up and went to school together, and he just didn't have the same passion that everybody else had, and so and his playing wasn't really that up to par. And Raymond and I are still friends to this day, but he wasn't the right one. But when Brad came along and we heard how he played, it was obvious.
One other quick thing: I'm a superstitious guy. I like to play sports. I'm superstitious. Any superstitious things you do before a show?
No.
Okay, cool.
I just get ready. I stretch a little bit, and I warm up a bit, and that's it. I go on.
I just want to say, being a big Aerosmith fan,
yeah,
it's you five guys. If the reading everything, what you went through, you five guys are Aerosmith. You take one of yours out, you're not Aerosmith.
That's very true, man. I appreciate you saying that and understanding that. That is the truth. And I know that I am very grateful for the way that the fans stuck up for me and put up for me, when all that bullshit was going down, because that's what it was, bullshit. It was a lot of inside politics, which I can't get into, but, I believe that the right thing will always prevail. God knows what he has planned for everybody. And there's always usually a reason for it. And, there's probably a reason why he put me through what I went through, because I'm so much stronger now that, that'll never happen to me again. But at the same time, it was very confusing to me because I never really did understand what it was that was troubling the other side of my partnership, to the point where, you could take a guy that's been on the team for 50 years and kick him to the curb.
I know that's the problem on our side as fans, is that we really have no idea what's going on, and we don't know the honest truth. And I'm in a few Aerosmith groups, and like everybody's like, "What's going on?" And we were all angry because it's like, without Joey, it's not Aerosmith. Like, that's how I always felt. If it's not U5, it's not Aerosmith. They can't represent you guys.
I so appreciate you saying that, man, and understanding that. And that's true. That's true. And there's politics, and there's corrupt politics in any and every business.
Definitely.
And if everybody's concerned with and wants to maintain, the original passion of why we started a band and why we make the music that we make, you get past that shit. There's lots of bands that function that don't like each other, and I'm not saying that I don't like those guys. I love them all. We've been in a band together for 50 years. That's most of my life. But, shit happens. Things are the way they are. Certain people are the way that they are. And if they're not going to change, you either got to accept it or move out of the arena.
Well, thank you very much, Joey.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for your support, man.
You got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe. All right, we're going to go to Mitch. Hi, Mitch. Great to see you.
Britt, I'm here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's good to see you. And just an incredible honor to be with the amazing Joey Kramer. Wow.
Oh, thank you, Mitch.
Yeah, I've been drumming since I was 8 years old, and then I added the other instruments. I do a lot of songwriting and producing and singing it all. So I'm pretty much doing everything.
Good for you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to underscore what was just said a moment ago, and I can think of one good reason why this happened, which is if you want to appreciate Joey Kramer, take him out of Aerosmith and see the difference, and then you'll understand the incredible contribution you made. All right. You want to conduct the experiment? There it was. And I was there. And yes, there is a difference. So yeah, big time.
Thank you, Mitch.
Even I've been thinking about this for so long. You have this incredible drive and swing and power and finesse all at the same time, which is a hard thing to put all that together. But there are things you do that are simple too, but they're iconic. For example, on Living on the Edge, it's like we get dropped off a cliff, and then, and I'm sure everybody here has been in the arena with you guys, but when there's 20,000 people in an arena and they're waiting for those 3 kick notes to come in and go, I mean, I'm feeling 20,000 people feeling every one of those 3 notes. It's simple, but it reaches right to our core, and then everything just explodes. And I thought about Ringo Starr with the 3 notes as an antecedent and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, but it was just an amazing use of notes. Or in Love in the Elevator, there's a certain part when you're in that bridge and you go simple things, but we feel every single note that you're playing, and if it wasn't there, we would miss it. So I just got to express that to you. Your creative contributions, or at the end of one of these songs, you're going boom boom, da 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 boom boom, da 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 da. I mean, they're simple things, but everybody in the world who loves rock and roll feels every one of those notes. So I just had to say that.
Thank you, Mitch. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that you guys understand, what it is. I've always been a believer of more, less is more, and keeping it simple and direct, but strong.
Very much so. So, and I also want to underscore, I was talking to Danny Serafine, the drummer from Chicago, and he got thrown out of Chicago, and Chicago's not the same without Danny Serafine either.
Right.
And I went to a solo show of his. It was one of the greatest drumming demonstrations I've ever seen in my life. And they thought he couldn't maintain a beat, but he was just kind of changing the feel in the exact right way. There's the click, and then there's a genius drummer like you and Danny Serafine. And you guys are right sometimes, and the click is wrong. And that's something that people need to appreciate.
Well, there's a lot of songs that we've recorded in the past that are, in the beginning of our career, up until Permanent Vacation that don't have any click on it. It's just us playing. You know, those guys just abiding by my time. And then we got into, you know, click tracks, and like that's a whole different thing to master, which we have, but it's still, it's not the same. And that's part of what is claimed to be going on, that you know, those guys like to play things on the upside, you know, and I like to play it on the backside because my playing comes from the street. I never took any lessons. I'm self-taught, and I'm a field player, and I play what I feel feels good. And you know, there are certain people that don't agree with that. So either they do and they appreciate what's getting done, or they don't, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, those milliseconds of difference is what makes the difference between a really great drummer and a brilliant genius drummer like Joey Kramer. It's milliseconds of timing if you want to lay back or if you want to be up. And
right.
Yeah, and it gives it more power sometimes to lay back, but it's such a subtle thing most people can't hear it. But you have that, and that does account. And it's interesting that you say that, because that does account for. It explains a lot what you're saying in terms of the power that you're generating. I want to ask you about the song development process. The Aerosmith has some of the most amazing arrangements in the history of music. What was the process like to develop these brilliant songs, and how long does it take, and what is your role in interacting with the development of the arrangements until it makes it to the final record?
Well, that's a good question. It's excuse me. It's usually a group effort. Like, you know, Steven and Joe will go and do some songwriting, and they'll come back with some stuff, and they'll throw it out there, and we'll start playing it. And you know, just by virtue of the five of us playing, you know, together, it begins to take shape and sound like something that it didn't before. But everybody puts in their own piece, really. To me, if I come up with a drum part, it's what seems really to be the most obvious to me. You know, and what's obvious to me is not necessarily obvious to the other guy, the next guy, or another drummer. You know, but that's why I do what I do. And those guys understand that, and I understand that of them and what they bring, you know. I mean, you got a guy like Brad, who's like such a ridiculously underrated guitar player that, you know, he comes up with shit that's just mind-boggling, you know. And, you know, he's not all that concerned with being, you know, in the spotlight or a credit man, or, you know, he loves to play. He loves to play his guitar. And I got a lot of respect for that. But it's definitely, you know, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's definitely a group. It's definitely a group function that happens sort of, I don't know, what can I say, naturally, you know, because after you do it for so long, to try and explain it and nail it down, it's very difficult. But everybody adds their own piece, and that's what it is. And I'm grateful that you guys have the ability to, as fans, have the ability to separate all that out and appreciate each one of us for whatever it is that we do. You know, that's the greatest.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And I'm hoping eventually we'll get some more Aerosmith music and we can rip you out of that vacation you're on. It's not going to be a permanent vacation, I'm hoping.
Okay, Mitch.
We're excited for your comeback when you're ready. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question. I know. I guess there's nothing like playing with the same musicians for 50 years to be able to. It's like, how do you even explain that? It's like you just have this chemistry all together, and you just go. Yeah, it's got to be amazing. Well, all right. We're gonna go to Leslie. Hello, Leslie. Tell us where you're calling from. Good to see you. Hold on, I'm asking to unmute you. We can't hear you yet. See that little pop up? There you go.
There we go. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Leslie.
Hey, Joey. So I've been a huge Aerosmith fan since 1973. I've seen the band 19 times. Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Israel in 2017. And the band without Joey is not the band, number one. I mean, I saw Jimmy Crespo when he filled in, and it wasn't Aerosmith. All the five guys make Aerosmith. Joey, I love your playing.
Thank you.
I went through the music program in Montreal. I had Corky Lang's teacher, drum teacher, was my teacher back in '74. I still play with my band. I have a question. What ride cymbal are you using? Which app sounds fantastic and I love it. I want to know what ride you play.
It's an Earth ride cymbal with a mega bell, which I had Zildjian make for me. And so many people picked up on it and started to like it that they started making them. And then for some reason, they just stopped. So I have about probably a half a dozen of those. But I love, I love a cymbal now and again, but I'm just really a sucker for that bell. And that bell, that mega bell on the Earth ride is just it's superior.
Was it an 18-inch ride?
No, I think it's a 20.
Okay. I just want to thank you for all the years and all the great, most amazing music. Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Keep on rocking, man.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Leslie.
Yeah.
And all right, Ryan. Hello, Ryan. You got a nice sunshine coming through here.
Hi, Joey. I was calling from Santa Barbara. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. You're sitting right. You got the sun coming.
Yeah,
right
the sun is kind of.
Yeah. If you stay right there, that's great.
I was trying to figure out what to do.
You're good now. You're good.
Yeah. I've seen you guys 3 times, and I played with Joe Perry in Rock Fantasy Camp. But I was a big fan. The one concert I went to it was Santa Barbara Bowl. I got to play with Brad and Tom. So actually, now I would have met everybody in Aerosmith except Steven. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Now you get to meet Joey here.
Yeah. I kind of went blank though on what to say though. But
that's okay. Do you have a question, Ryan?
I was trying to think of one, but I think I kind of went blank on it when I was.
Well, that's okay. You sit tight, man, and think about what you want to ask me. We'll come back to you. All right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be okay. Yeah, I just got a little anxious or tense though, and I forgot.
I understand. It's not a problem, Ryan.
Yeah,
I understand.
Talk to a rock star, drummer for Aerosmith, so I get it. we're all nervous here.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, Ryan. We'll come back to you. Think about what you asked.
I get all the shit that goes along with anxiety and all the other shit that goes along with that. So just chill, think about what you want to ask me, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I might try like a little later after a few people, and maybe I won't be as tense though.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Got it, Ryan. Speaking of that, do you ever get nervous going on stage? Did that just completely go away after, you played a certain amount of shows, Joey?
It depends. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. When I have my wits about me and I'm ready to go, I don't, which is usually the way it is. But every once in a while, there'll be something that's really bothering me that has nothing to do with the band, nothing to do with music, but it's just eating on my brain. And if I'm not in the right space before I go on, it'll interfere with my playing.
Right. Do you have any tricks to like get in the zone? Like, because it makes such a difference when you're in that just total zone that everybody talks about versus like knowing the songs and playing, but being too aware of everything.
Well, I get, every once in a while, I get somebody complain to me on stage that, they couldn't get in touch with me because I go to that zone and I just hang there, and, it's obvious when I'm there, but, you can't explain that shit, It just is what it is. It's why I've been doing what I've been doing for so long.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go to Jacob. Where are you calling from, Jacob?
Hi, I'm, despite what my background might look like, I'm actually not at Rock and Roller Coaster in Florida, though I'd like to be. I'm coming from Seattle, and as someone who's very, very been inspired by Aerosmith's music, I'd like to say thank you, Joey, and the rest of the band for making all that great music. As a solo artist and a drummer in a band myself, how do you remain visually interesting whilst being essentially locked in one place?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Jacob, I just pretty much do what comes naturally. I think most drummers, once you get past what it is that they're doing or how good it is or different it is that they're doing, you pretty much get bored watching them unless they're entertaining, I like to think that sometimes I'm entertaining and I don't really think about it. I just do what comes naturally to me and what feels good. And, whenever I'm playing, I usually feel pretty good. So that's kind of my, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess I'm my own inspiration. If I'm playing well, there's no better feeling. And when you start the show, or when I start the show, if I start playing well right away and I fall right into a pocket, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
I know that feeling when you're in a really solid pocket for a long time. I know that feeling.
Yep.
Also, I will point out that you guys were actually this shirt was actually from you guys were my first concert when you guys played over in Tacoma. Sadly, I've only seen you guys once because I just don't have the means to get out to the gorge. So whenever you guys are ready to come back to Seattle, I will be there. I'm going to try to be front row. If I can afford it, I'll try to get the backstage passes so I can get this beauty here signed by the band it's for.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jacob. And I think that's the best thing. You can always tell when somebody's putting on stage moves versus naturally being in it and naturally just expressing their what they would how they move naturally. So I like your style, Joey. All right,
Thank you.
We're gonna go to Connie, who plays in an Aerosmith tribute band. Tell us all about it, Connie.
Hey, good evening, Joey. We're down here in Palm Beach, Florida. And we miss you, brother. We know you had to make the move to Texas there, but
Connie McGinnis.
Connie McGinnis. Oh my God. So great to see you, Joey.
Thank you, man.
I got to say, you've provided a lot of great experiences for me and my family over the years, besides just coming out and watching you play. As mentioned earlier, your book was extremely inspirational. And of course, I might be a guitar player here, but I got to tell you, I know we agree that Brad's one of the most underrated guitar players out there, but at the same time, It's a common conversation with me and all my rock buddies that you're truly one of the most underrated drummers out there as well. But all I can say is we just love listening to you play and everything else. I guess one of the things, kind of to piggyback on what Mitch and Jacob were talking about a little bit earlier, and that was when you're as Britt mentioned, in the zone, so to speak, you listen to the certain songs on certain albums, and you just listen to like, how did that actually come about? How did those drum parts come about? I do that all the time with the guitar parts, but I've also find myself doing that with the other instruments in the band. So like you look at songs like Last Child, where although it's a heavy song, it almost as if you have this light touch, and you can almost hear the fun coming out of the speakers in a song like that. And I guess one of the questions I want to ask is how does that come about? Like, what were the most fun experiences and most memorable songs that you've played or recorded? And what goes into that? Is that because you've got a kick-ass producer like Jack Douglas in the room and he's pushing you? Or is it the opposite? Is it where they're letting you do exactly what you want to do, or you try a couple of things and see what works and doesn't work? Like, how does that come about? And what were the more fun experiences and why?
Well, I think that for absolutely positively, the most fun experiences were the albums that we did with Jack. I'm trying to think. Rocks.
Sure.
That album came out the way that it did because Jack kept us laughing all the time, and we were all very into our playing and very into making it better and being better and what can we do to get better. And I was really proud, and I still am, of that record. There's a lot of really good stuff on there. And a song like you ask about, like Last Child, see, like for me, that comes from my gut because that's what I'm about, is that kind of stuff. And Brad, who came up with that lick, is really good at that stuff and really good at playing it. And so that's kind of what makes it a pleasure. And when it seems to be that way, which it is, it's just, for me, it's just a natural thing that's happening. It's just, you know what's supposed to be there. I can't explain that to you. That's just something, I guess it's a gift, and that I'm very grateful for. And Last Child is one of my favorite songs to play on stage because now I can play it so much better than when we recorded it, that I can put, different triplets here and there on my foot and play stuff that I didn't play there on the record. And it's a really fun song to play. And at the end of the song, we put in Sing a Simple Song by Sly and the Family Stone. And that's the shit. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, it's along the lines of I've seen you open up with it a few times on something like Eat the Rich, where here's a great song, but at the same time, the intro to that song, it's what are you doing there? And is it kind of like the thing where Fleetwood Mac goes out and gets the chorus line at the USC band? I mean, it's so full. But watching you prepare to come in with that song, I just like, how does that come about? Like, where, okay, we're going to put this type of an intro to this particular song. I mean, it's all drums and it's just killer. It's exciting.
Well, those are the kinds of things that I work on with Steven, because he has a lot of really good input around it. And back then, I mean, that was like our third or fourth record. And back then I was like listening to a lot of what he had to say very intently, because I had a lot of respect for what it was he was doing and for the kind of musician that he is. And so, and he understood the same thing about me, but he recognized my talent and helped me to recognize it. And so I became uninhibited about putting my ideas and my creativity out there, and we would come up with shit like that together. So the bottom of it is, is a running loop, and then I play on top of it, and it can last as long as I let it last. And if they have a problem with it, I just tell them, listen, it'll last as long as I let it last.
All right.
If you don't like it, then we don't have to play it. But that's the story with Eat the Rich.
Well, according to crowd reaction, I don't think you have to worry about anybody not liking that and that intro. It's so heavy and it's so powerful and fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it really gets you there. It gets you there quick.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, great questions. And tell everybody quickly about your Aerosmith tribute in case anybody wants to check it out.
Well, who doesn't love Aerosmith, right? So we took the easy way out. Been playing covers for so many years, and I was very, very lucky to get together with a couple of guys that happen to have the same goal. So it's one of those things that with this particular band, we just kind of look at it and say, what is it that we can possibly do to pay the most possible, I guess in a way, kind of carry the torch and do the best we can to have the right look, the right sound, and everything else like that would make the band proud. And that's all we're looking for. It's all just a matter of, like I said, carrying the torch and having fun with something that so far everybody in the world seems to like, at least the crowds that we play in front of. So thank you, Joey. Thank you.
Sounds good, man.
Thank you for making that happen for us. We're having a lot of fun with it. And thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
You're very welcome.
Grayson. Hey, Grayson. Come say hi. How you doing? Where you calling?
I'm calling in from California, where it's starting to get dark outside. My question, Joey, is have you ever started to lose interest in playing the drums?
Lose interest?
Ever had a period where you're kind of just bored with it?
I can't say that I have, but there have been things that have gotten in my way that have interfered with me making progress, and it was kind of depressing to say the least. But there were certain things that happened to me when I was younger that got in the way of my creativity and tried to stop me, but no one stops me because I'm a bull. And actually, all it did was just inspire me to move on and get better. And once you get out of that hole that we can so easily dig ourselves into, you can inspire yourself. And when you can inspire yourself, which is not that difficult to do, you just got to look around you and see how lucky you are to be alive and be doing whatever it is that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it, and it takes that kind of stuff away. And playing the drums is something that I love to do so much that I wouldn't even entertain that. I mean, there are times where we'll come off the road and I might not play for 3 or 4 months, but it's not because I'm losing interest in the instrument. It's because I've had so much of it and I'm so overdosed on it that I need to take a rest. I need to step back, which is okay to do with anything. And I find that when I do that, 3 or 4 months down the line, when it's time to go back out again or back to rehearsal and prepare to go out on the road, I mean, it shines a whole new light on the drums.
Yeah. So when you take those breaks, do you ever think you could get rusty or you might mess up when you're doing a show?
Well, yeah, you can always get what you're calling rusty. I mean, really, it's just muscle memory. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if I don't play for 2 weeks, my chops definitely start going downhill. So when I'm home, like I have been for the last year, I just make sure that I play a few times a week, just to keep that, keep that fresh. And of course, it's not the same as playing live because it's not as intense.
Yeah.
Because the difference between playing in my house and my drum room by myself with whatever band.
I play guitar.
Oh, good. Then you won't lose interest in the drums.
Thanks, Grayson. All right, Carolina. Carolina, I'm asking to unmute you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I am in Uruguay, South America.
South America?
So Uruguay. You was in my country.
Yes.
Yes. My English, sorry, but it's not very good. But
that's okay. We'll make it happen.
And I want to tell you, thank you very much for your music. You made me happy when I listen your music, and for me, you are the best. And only want to tell you, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for thanking me very much. I thank you very much for being a fan and being down in South America. The fans in South America are so good.
Oh, thank
you. So
good.
I love you. Enthusiastic.
Can I tell you something in Spanish?
Sure.
Te quiero mucho. Te queremos mucho. Te quiero mucho. I love you so much in Uruguay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carolina. And your English is very good. It really is much better than our Spanish, let me tell you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here. Jonathan, hey, did you want to say hi? I see Jonathan Rosenblum here. Asking to unmute you if you wanted to say hi.
Hey, Joey. Nice to see you. Thanks for letting me be part of this. How are you, Joey?
Sure, man. I didn't know you were there.
Yeah, man. I'm just hanging out watching. Sorry, Joey and I go back, so I'm just hanging out.
Well, who's this picture of that says your name on it?
Oh, that was me.
Show your face. There you go.
There I am.
Hey there.
Hey, Joey. I just came on to support. I've known Joey a long time, so I'm here to support and listen to all these awesome stories. And it's great to see you, Joey.
Oh, thanks, Jonathan.
Jonathan, do you have an embarrassing Joey story you can share with us all?
No, Joey's perfect.
Good answer.
I pay him to say that.
Yeah. Yes, I am a big fan of the coffee. He knows I love the coffee.
Yes, I've tried it too. It's awesome. What's going on with that? Any new developments? Any new?
We're like revamping the whole thing, trying to get some new people on board, and it's difficult. The coffee is it's a very, very competitive field. The only thing in the world that's traded more than coffee is oil. So coffee is the second most traded that there is in the world. I'm losing it too now. See, Ryan, how bad it is. But we're trying to do like a relaunch, because it's difficult. It's difficult, and it costs a lot of money to keep it up. And but I'm hanging in there. I'm not going to let it just fall down the drain.
Great. All right. Anything else, Jonathan?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Joey.
You too, Jonathan. Thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, yeah, you got it, man.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, your name says admin here, but I've unmuted you. What's your name? Oh, are you there? Oh,
doesn't look like there's anybody there.
Okay.
What's next to that?
Okay, they were unmuted for a second. All right. Well, person named Admin. If you want to chat, just you can type something in the chat. Speaking of the chat, I'm going to just take a couple questions from there. There was a good one. Let me find it.
Well, hold on 1 second, Britt. Ryan, you ready for us to come back to you?
I'm asking to unmute you there, Ryan. See that little pop-up?
Yeah, it might be a good time. Yeah, but yeah, no, I was just on. Yeah, but it was a good time. But well, actually, now my mom is outside though. She's just getting some boxes from Amazon. But yeah, I've been playing a lot during like everything being shut down though. But then
the pandemic.
There's like times though that I don't know like how to get myself to start playing again. Yeah. But
you just gotta go do it, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Don't think about it so much.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
It'll make you feel good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Aerosmith song to play, Ryan?
There's a lot of good. I like Toys in the Attic, the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
I like almost. I probably like all of it. So there's a lot of good Aerosmith stuff.
I hope so.
Not a bad song.
I wouldn't be here.
Well, yeah, keep up the good work. Don't lose hope. Things are turning around, and live concerts will be back soon too.
Just remember, Ryan, don't think about it. Stay out of your head.
Yeah.
Just go and do it. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
Too much thinking is no good.
No, I know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks. If you think of another one,
it's great talking to you.
We'll check back in with you, Ryan, before. Okay.
All right.
We'll check back in with you, man.
Yeah. Bye, Joe. Bye, Britt.
Bye. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay.
Keep rocking. All right. A couple questions in the chat here. Want to know what are your two favorite Aerosmith albums and why?
Two favorite Aerosmith albums. Rocks and Pump.
Any particular reason why?
I think the songwriting and the playing and the performance on Pump is some of the best that we've ever done. And that's a record that I was really proud of when we did it. I still am now. And Rocks is also, there's some really, really good songs on there. We were really coming into our own playing wise. And that's why. It's really difficult to pick. Like when somebody asks me, what's my favorite song to play on stage? I'm like, what the fuck? What are you asking me? It's like, I love them all.
Yeah.
It's like having little babies, But, because, I love Permanent Vacation too. But to ask me which is my favorites, I guess I'd have to stay with those two.
Okay. And Magdalena wants to know, because she's in Germany, any shows that were scheduled, do you know if anything's been rescheduled yet?
For what, the summer?
Yeah, like the show that you had in Germany last year that, got
Well,
postponed.
we were scheduled to do some, I think most of the festivals in Europe over the summer, which we postponed last summer. And now we're postponing them again until next summer.
Right.
Which is not our choice, but got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come to Europe, yeah, we definitely do Germany. Germany is a big market for us.
Good. And Sam wants to know, are you coming to Mexico too? Will you be back there?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, real quick, what current bands do you listen to now? Anything new?
It's really hard to answer because I'm an old school dog, and I listen to my Tower of Power and Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown. There's a lot of good stuff out there right now, but mostly lately I've been watching a lot of YouTube, checking out a lot of new artists and people that are looking to get discovered, and it just boggles my mind the amount of talent that's on there. So maybe I'll find a new favorite.
Right. It's crazy. I know. What do you think would have happened with Aerosmith if we had all the technology and all the musicians on YouTube? Do you think?
Oh God, it's so different now.
Yeah.
So different, especially the music itself. I mean, there's stuff out there that when I see, sometimes I'll watch an award. I shouldn't even be saying this, but sometimes I'll be watching an award show on TV, and the people that are getting awards, I don't even know who they are. I don't even know who they are. It's like gotten completely away from me because it either because I'm not interested or I've gotten too old or, so I'm recycling myself and starting to watch a lot of YouTube so I can get back in touch with, what's what. I depend on my son to tell me about good new bands, that are coming along because he's a drummer too, and he's got his own band and he lives in LA, and so he's on top of it.
Right. Yep, I know what you mean. One more question in the chat. What resources do you use now to help fight anxiety since you can't be playing live?
Since I can't be playing live?
Yeah,
what resource? Can you repeat that for me, Britt? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So what resources do you use now to help fight anxiety now that you can't play live music?
I talk to the right people. I talk to my sponsor, in NA, and which I'm not shy about people knowing that, I'm sober for many years. And I do a lot of self-talk. I talk to myself a lot of times if I need to leave the room or if I'm getting, what happens for me is that, I can pretty much see or feel when the anxiety is coming on. I haven't had to really deal with a lot of it lately because I've been pretty relaxed. But when I do deal with it, it's a lot of self-talk because what it is things that you're ruminating about in your head that really aren't even going to happen. Maybe they could, maybe they won't, but most of the times they don't. But we start ruminating on it, thinking about it, and digging into it, and that's what causes the anxiety. So if I can distract myself, emphasis on distract, then it helps a whole lot. Everybody, I think, as far as anxiety goes and depression, I think a lot of people kind of find their own path to what helps them. Because, excuse me, when I have anxiety, I don't want to be around anybody. But that's getting it. It gets really bad.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Well, Joey, in closing here, you in the last session, oh, hold on, this dog is going crazy. Hold on 1 second. Jesus. All right, sorry. In the last session, you told an awesome story about drawing straws, about who gets to sleep in the van. And
I told you guys that story?
Yeah, you did. You said maybe the guys in the band didn't even know that you were always in charge of drawing the straws. And for some reason, you were the only one that never had to stay in the van to watch the gear overnight.
That's right.
I love that. And I was wondering if you had any other funny little secrets you could share with us. We'll keep it here. We'll keep it
I told you the one about the dentist, right?
No.
I didn't tell you guys the one about the dentist?
No.
Well, it was funny. It was humorous. It was embarrassing. It was kind of weird. We were in, I think in Virginia. This goes back to like, oh my God, probably late 70s, early 80s. And we were on the road. We had a show that night, and I had an abscessed tooth, and they had to take me to the dentist, and I needed a root canal. And they can't give you a root canal, all at once. They have to do it in stages. And so he did the first stage, but I had to go do the show that night. And he knew that the vibration from what was going to go on stage was going to really bother me, and it could turn out to be pretty painful, as it did. And so we went on, and we were playing in the round, and so there were people behind us, and behind Joe's amps stood the dentist that I saw that afternoon, and he stood there with that big stainless steel syringe that they use in a dentist's office, to give you Novocaine. And every time that I was feeling pain, the dentist would come around, or I'd go behind the amps, and he would give me a shot of Novocaine so that I could stop hurting. Right now, what a sight that must have been for people behind us to see me come behind the amps and stand there and have this guy give me a shot of Novocaine while I'm standing there and playing. And then of course, I'm trying to take a drink, and I'm all completely numb. So everything's dripping all over my face, and I'm a mess. And, you had to be there.
That's awesome. I love it. Stories from the road. So good. Well, Joey, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time here tonight, and so glad that you and the family are safe over there. And we really miss seeing you play live, and can't wait to see you come back when.
Yeah, me too. And I want to say to all you guys that came tonight, we as a band, and I especially, really appreciate you guys and the kind of fans that you are, and the understanding that you've given to me, and the support that you put out there when I had my problem last year. And, as far as I'm concerned, the fans are what it's all about. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. It's been an honor. And everyone, go check out Rock Camp the movie, rent it, watch it, see what it's all about. It's a really cool experience, and it's #1 on the iTunes documentary charts right now. So check that out, and everybody be safe and stay healthy, and hope to see you all again real soon.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
See ya.
You gonna show me the outtakes? Your daddy wants to do me in. Sniffing. When the sun never shines. Black cherry. Yo, mama. Kink. Sweet Loretta. Is anybody out there? Bell.
Daddy wants to do me in.
Yeah, your mom wants to do it. Your daddy wants to do me in. The heat of love. Ooh.
We have spies in our. Nothing like the internet, huh?
Yeah. You ever show me the outtakes? Outtakes.